safer beside you. Better off looking the Bible, advise you to
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Fight you, thinking the nigga won't hide you, thinking it's ever beside you. Better off looking to Bible, they fight you. I got
We're
10
back with
estates,
another episode of Type Beat.
run up
It's a
in your
podcast.
house, run up in your face. Then I'm sorry, ooh, like my mama. I don't want no drama, but rather do Bahamas. Be talking comments, Icky gangsta, yes, your honor.
LJ1S.
Damn, that camera is just not on.
Damn.
Making a nigga won't fight you, making a nigga won't hide you, thinking it's safer beside you. Better off looking to Bible, they fight you. I got 10 estates, you can pick this bed. Run up at your house, run up in your face. Then I'm sorry, ooh, like my mama. I don't want no drama, but rather do Bahamas. But if we talking comments, Icky gangsta, yes, your honor. Palms glistening. Making a nigga won't fight you, making a nigga won't hide you, thinking it's safer beside you. Better off looking to Bible, they fight you. I got 10 estates, you can pick this bed. Run up at your house, run up in your face. Then I'm sorry, ooh, like my mama. I don't want no drama, but rather do Bahamas. But if we talking comments, Icky gangsta, yes, your honor. Palms glistening, making it.
So, yeah.
Give me an ISO boost. I'll let you know when. One click, two click, and stop there. I'll give me one more. Here we go, right there. Cool.
Making a nigga won't fight.
Kid Maestro got yellow hair.
Making a nigga won't fight you.
Like I said,
Making a nigga won't hide you. Making
Names I
a
make
nigga
bad
beside you. Better off looking to Bible, they fight you. I got 10 estates. You can pick this
Type
bed.
beat.
Run up at your house. Run up in your face. Then I'm
Who are you?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
one
me.
more time.
Yeah, LJ1S, what up?
Unique, period.
Kid Maestro.
Wait,
Hello.
the slow.
Kid Maestro.
Big deep voice there. No, I'm playing.
Big D, that's
Big beat.
some Memphis shit. That's
All right. Cool, man. What are we talking about?
Yeah, what are we talking
Man,
about,
so
bro?
we got the streets. No, we ain't got the streets today. Man. We always got the streets on lock, but
That's facts.
you know, got the 808s versus bass, man.
Bass.
This guy. 808s versus bass, man. Has the 808 overshadowed the live bass. We got genres. Do they really matter? Should they matter? Should we still have them? And then the power of being a nerd, man. Like, why it's so cool? Why everyone should do it? Why everyone should be a nerd?
Of
Yeah.
your craft.
Yeah.
I feel like part of, I guess we'll talk about it when we get to that topic, but the instant, like, I don't know, conflict I felt when you said, yeah, everybody should be a nerd and why it's so cool. Like, just the narrative of cool and nerd are just opposite. I feel like we've been conditioned
Interesting.
for that.
Okay.
So when you said that, yeah, being
Okay.
a nerd is cool, it just felt like, no, it's not.
Like,
It's,
nerd
it's
is-
just being a nerd.
really?
That's crazy. Okay. All right, man. 808 versus the bass.
I pretty much feel, hey, there's more 808s than it is the actual instrument of the bass. Like, I grew up loving to hear an upright bass, an electric bass, you know, even the acoustic bass. Like, it was just the sound itself, the feeling that it gave, and I feel like that's being overshadowed by the 808 nowadays. Like, all we hear is 808 here, 808 there. That's why I fucks with Kendrick when they had the album. I think it was it Good Kid, Mad City?
To the butterfly.
It's Pimp a Butterfly. My mistake, bro. But that whole album didn't have any 808s in it, and I absolutely loved that. I adored that, and I feel like there's not enough of that nowadays. Even when you hear boom bap, like boom bap is still being played on a digital machine instead of, you know, somebody really getting the feel of hitting that pocket the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that it's not out there, but I rarely hear it anymore. And how do y'all feel about
So I have a few thoughts because I think it comes down more so to what you listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Because we still have bands, we still have, you know, like the bass is still alive, but I think it just comes down to, again, the genre, which is funny. But, what you listen to. I think in the hip-hop world, the rap world, trap, whatever, where we're at, that's a thing. Yeah, but I also think what people don't acknowledge to what's happening now, I see a lot of people turning to a lot of producers who are getting tired of the traditional sample packs or whatever. They're going back to creating their own and having like live instruments being involved within those samples. Now, yes, they may get resampled and layered with 808s or whatever. So I still can see the how the 808 still overshadows that. But I do think it comes down truly to what you're listening to. Because if we're listening to like a jazz album or something, it's bass all through there, you know. So yeah, I think it just really comes down to what you're listening to at that time. What's in your world?
How you feel, kid?
I don't deny that 808s are definitely more prevalent in today's like hip hop than live bass. But I don't necessarily have an issue with that. One, because hip hop in itself is young as hell compared to like most other genres of music. And all those other genres of music like the 808 just didn't exist. Like the electric bass has been around way longer. So I feel like it's cool. Like let
That's the
evolve.
electric bass.
Huh? You know. So stringed instruments before you could even plug that junk up. Like it's always been evolving. And people had a lot of issues when the electric guitar came out. Like that was a very controversial instrument. You know what I'm saying? It was like even just the blues. It was devil music. You know what I'm saying? But that's like the stuff that hip hop was sampling. And so before people was even using the TR-808 kick drum or whatever, like hip hop was all live bass because it was coming from sampled records. Yeah. And like then it evolved. Then we got just new instruments. We started using like computers and other stuff. And I think that's fine. Like in the grand scheme of things, we just started doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I just feel like I have a lot of grace for that. Cause like, yo, let's just let things have its natural course. We ain't gotta keep going back to the same sound. You know what I'm saying? Like not that it's bad, but I feel like to me, that's like the natural progression. Like we make new instruments and it just becomes a part of the sound. Like the electric bass is now a timeless sound. Yeah. Right? And you know, I don't know. We'll see in, 40 years or whatever. Right. But the 808 might be one of those things. And we're just in the early stages of it.
Yeah, I think the 808 has, and it's more so hip-hop, but I think the 808 itself, it helps define what genre you're listening to, so to speak.
Yeah. And just the technology of the area. Not even just the technology to make sub basses like that, but the technology to hear it. Cars sound different. Stereos, even headphones.
Completely different. Yeah.
That's right.
You can actually hear that stuff. And so there's literally more space in the frequency of our everyday lives, for that instrument, for that sound. Which I think is good. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like records had to be produced back in when phono records and whatever, and it was like you can only hear so much of what was even being made. And now that you can hear what's going on, like let's take advantage. So people are using like subs.
I feel that. I definitely still hear that same like effect with a regular electric bass. So I definitely but I do hear the punch of the 808 is a lot more effective than the regular bass or whatnot when I do hear it in the car.
I think the thing that's like not being mentioned here, so like the pushback on the whole 808 versus bass conversation. So I hear what Kid is saying in terms of like progression into new instruments and new platforms to like take up certain frequencies or whatever. But I feel like there's one very important part that's not being discussed here. So when you had your first like stringed upright basses, right? There was a certain level of skill and musicality attached to that,
Right.
right?
Right.
Then when you moved on to the electric bass, same thing,
Yeah.
right? There was a certain level of skill and musicality attached to it, right? What level of skill and musicality is attached to 808 bass? I'm not saying that you can't have that there aren't levels to using that. There absolutely are. There's just doom 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 doom. But and then there's doom 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 and just a whole bunch of ways to freak it, right?
Right.
Right. But do you just typically associate in the historical context of that frequency of sound? Does that sound like a progression
Right.
or or digression
Right.
in terms of the skill and musicality of manipulating it? You do not associate an 808 with that.
That's
I agree.
right.
That's where the issue is,
That's right.
right?
I like
It
the
is
way
that
you
it
said that.
feels like simpler, less complex,
Right.
less musical is winning.
Right. Right.
That's the tricky nuance part of
That's
that dynamic.
Right.
yeah, that's interesting. It makes me think of I believe it was mixed by Ali, but he was talking about like the skill that's needed, especially now, to make something sound dirty. And I think it's the same thing like with the 808. Like they are parallel to me because yes, there are levels to it of knowing how to use it, but like you still have to know how to use it. You still have to know how to get there. Just like a bass, like you still have to know if it's in the right tune with the song. You still have to know if the scale like. And
There's no real skill, like Matt was saying. There's no real like practice going into it. Like you can mimic somebody else's bass, like just by hearing like the rhythm of how they did it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
but
just
right.
I'm sorry, like just to press more into the detail of what we're. Now I want to be clear. I have yet to state my actual opinion on this. I just feel like there are parts of this chessboard that are not being mentioned yet. You know what I'm saying?
I feel
Okay, so the same criticisms that one might have for 808 versus bass are interestingly the same criticisms one has for more traditional music and hip hop, right? So there is that. This conversation is not just this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Like, and I feel like obviously we don't have to go into the whole AI giant, but I feel like the natural like the overall conversation is just like what is really having to reevaluate what do we value, right? When we hear something dope, what are we valuing? Are we valuing the thing itself, or are we valuing the idea that somebody had to be so good to be able to make this? Right? Are we valuing the product or the giant? And I feel like when it comes to like sports, like basketball, or whatever, I think for me, if I'm watching a game, I'm like, there's something about it that's making me, that I feel like I resonate with, like, yo, you had to be crazy to be able to pull that off, or that athleticism is dope.
Yep.
But I don't really think music is really in the same way. At least not, at least it don't heavily lean in that direction in the same way as sports.
I agree. It should though, but I agree with you.
Well, see, now I don't know if I think it should.
I think it.
I'm not sure
Okay.
about that.
All right.
Because sports, I think, is more purely entertainment, or at least if there's a spectrum, it's leaning closer to pure entertainment, right? Amusement,
Okay.
Something that it's not made to lead you to think more about you and yourself. But music, I feel like, is more of like communication, like that.
Yeah.
I think that's closer to like helping you explore yourself and emotions, and you know what I'm saying. And so like I think, and then you hear people say all the time, like the most important thing is the song, right? It's whatever is needed to service this song to make it the most impactful and effective. That's most important. And obviously because we are, the creators of the music, right?
I feel like you're about to go on for like 10 minutes. Real quick, Rest in Baseface says 808s abandons all feel and musicality for just pure sub hitting. Big shout out. If you comment, I'm going to pin it so that way when we talk about it, people know what we're talking about.
Man.
Big shout out, Rest in Baseface.
out.
Go ahead, brother. Keep
Yeah.
going.
So, yeah, I feel like, including me, we want, as the participators, we want the focus to be on the person. Not even just the person, but the skill of the person. We want to be acknowledged for that. And we do. We do acknowledge that in music. But I think more importantly, like subconsciously, we more so value like the product. Like the songs themselves are what like moves people, and they're singing them, they're singing these songs.
Hold on, wait. Hold on a second. Just so that I'm clear, because I have so much to say on this. I'll let y'all say a lot. When you say the more so the focus is on the songs, right? Are you suggesting that these are elements that don't determine the song?
No, I'm not. No, that's not what I'm saying.
So then how can you differentiate the two?
Because I'm talking about what we as a society value, like when we consume a product. Like
Okay.
what is where on the spectrum, what do we value the most? And I think I feel like in sports, like people value the players. People care more about LeBron than basketball, right? The game itself. I feel like in music, in terms of the whatever would be considered the athletes, I feel like as a whole, on the spectrum, we value like the songs themselves, right? And so, and how that fits into this argument is to me like this idea of like, musicality and skill becoming less and less important, right? I feel like the way music and music technology and the way things are coming out and how we as like consumers of music respond to that, point to that picture of like, it's really, does it sound good or not, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And that at the end of the day, I feel like that's what matters the most.
Yeah.
I feel like
Which leads us to be like,
I was right. 10 minutes.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Which means that like, yeah, I can see, you know what I'm saying, like the electric bass not being that important because it's just about the sound. And so if people are liking the 808, it's like they don't care how much skill you had to have to make this
but
product.
I value the skill though.
Right?
I'm one
But
of
because
those-
you're an artist.
You're an artist. But I also think though, like
I think a lot of more people feel the way I feel that even aren't in the position
I do
that
too.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I absolutely do.
I value the person that actually took the time to do their homework, to nerd out and really hone in and be like, hey, this is what brings the ear. This is what marauders the ear type shit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel that in the 808.
so. I think this goes back to what man
Y'all done
was
said what
saying.
y'all thought like 8 times, bro. I'm just waiting. Y'all go ahead, man.
Come on, then. I genuinely
go
want
ahead.
to
He
hear
already
what
started. He already
I
started,
think
bro.
what
One day
man was
y'all gonna
saying-
actually notice that before I have to say that.
Going to
Neen,
what
what you
man
think?
was
Y'all
saying,
just
about like how people just more so don't really value the skill of using 808. Because think about it, like you take someone that play a bass and put them in front of a laptop or a computer to like, yo, I need you to make this 808, line. 9 times out of 10 they can't do it. So like there's the instrument just changed, but there's still skill in that because I know some people that play an 808 way differently than the typical 808 player. Just like someone that plays a bass, Mono Neon, not gonna play the bass like a typical bass player.
Right.
Like, so I feel like it's still skill in there. We just don't value it, like Matt was saying, because again, not everyone can do that. Not everyone is going to be able to pick the right bass to go with this kick. Not everyone's going to be able to play this bass a certain way to allow space for this drop. Like, that's a skill. Like, and we have to work to be able to do that. It's just not as valued as much, but that's still a skill.
I feel it. Neen, what's your take on that?
All right, man. Y'all fall back for the rest of the episode. God damn. All right. First of all, I think there have been some great points made, but there are some things in between the points that I would like to discuss. First and foremost, I think the best thing that's been said so far is what LJ said, right? LJ said that the 808 is a genre-defining element, right? And I want to be clear about something. The 4 people in this room live a majority in this genre. Okay, so let's just say 30 years ago in the 90s, there was a time when somebody could have said, yo, man, drum breaks is taking over. Where are the real drummers? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? No, they didn't. Drum breaks was just a defining element of hip-hop.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? It was adding on to the existence of drummers. It wasn't replacing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but a new genre had new defining elements, and a new genre will have new defining elements over the period of 50 years as it finds its place. Right? The last 20 years of hip-hop has lived heavily with 808s because I think it's found its place, right? It's settled down. It's saying, oh, okay, wait a minute.
This is where I belong.
This is also a core element of us. It's not just the New York version, right? This is also a core element of us. And so the use of 808s isn't necessarily to replace bass, right? As much as it is to say, this is hip hop.
Right.
This is hip hop, or this is hip hop influenced. Even when pop people use 808s, it's to grab some hip hop people.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I'm saying? And when gospel people use 808s, it's to say we cool.
We cool with the young, yeah.
Right? Absolutely. We cool. We can hop into this crowd and kind of look like we fit here. You know what I'm saying?
I hate that. I'm just being honest.
Making a nigga more
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
Making a
I
nigga more hide
think
you.
the
Making
genre
a nigga beside
specificity
you. Better off looking the Bible, they bite you. I got 10 estates.
number 2,
Run up at your house. Run up in your face.
I don't think,
And I'm sorry.
I disagree with you, kids. I don't think that, like, I agree with the part where you said, like, when I'm watching the NBA, right? Like, I'll admit, like, the NBA,
Making a nigga
in
more
general, like,
fight
you
you.
can just go
Making a
back and
nigga
look
more hide
at
you.
the NBA
Making a safer beside you.
exponentially multiplied in like its success when its athletes started to do things average people couldn't do, right? Jordan, right? Dr. J, just them being 7 foot tall was like, what is this? These people are barely human. You know what I'm saying? Jordan can fly. How does he stay in the air that way? Right? Exactly. Steph Curry is shooting from half court. What is going on? Humans shouldn't be able to aim that well. You know what I'm saying? You know, now, in musicality, I grew up, the things Michael Jackson was doing, we didn't know how he was doing this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, the things Prince was doing, we didn't know how he was doing it. The things Stevie Wonder, Rachel, these guys were blind. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know how he was doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then even down to like, you know, the performers, right? So whether it's a Janet Jackson or a Beyonce, how are you sounding this good while doing all of these dance moves at the same time? Like, these are these extreme things that are like, wow moments, right? Okay, do I think the world has had, in the last 20 years, has grown a more appreciation for the simpler, less complicated, less above human, you know, absolutely, yes. Do I think there's been a room made for that? Absolutely, yes. I also think that room has always been there. It's just not finding its place in hip-hop, right? It's always been that. You can go back and listen to stuff the Beatles did. It's 2 notes, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not, simplicity is not new. You know what I'm saying? Simplicity is also old, right? I think that's a newer thing in the world of hip hop. I also think that people are absolutely in the world of music in mass enamored by the complicated, right? Enamored by the skill, right? Enamored by the because that's the thing. Again, there's always levels to this stuff. Microwaves
Palms
will
glistening.
always win,
Making a
right?
nigga won't fight you.
Microwaves will
Making a nigga
always
won't
win.
hide you.
But chefs
Making
of
a
the
nigga
year,
beside
chefs of the
you.
decade,
Better off looking
restaurants
the
of the
Bible,
decade, restaurants of the century
I got
will
tennis
always be
sets.
complicated,
You can pick a space.
right?
Run up at your
Number
house.
one artists on
Run
the
up
block,
in your
you know what I'm
face.
saying?
Then I'm sorry.
Whether it's rap,
Ooh,
whether it's
my
R&B,
mama.
whether it's whatever.
I don't
These
want no
people are
drama.
ridiculously skilled,
But if we talking
right?
comments,
Who's the rapper of
if you can't
2024?
stay your shine.
He's doing Super Bowl. I'll give you guys a
Palms
hint.
glistening. Making a nigga won't fight you. Making a nigga won't
Come on.
hide you.
Do I need to further that idea? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, I absolutely think that there is a heavy appreciation. I just think that there's also appreciation for simplicity, but I don't think that appreciation for simplicity trumps the appreciation of being able to do something most people can't do. I think more people there might be a gravitation to a simple cheeseburger that's easily accessible. But people are always gonna value the fucking Wagyu beef joint, you know what I'm saying, more. And if they can choose between the two, binarily, they're gonna choose it. Absolutely.
Run up at your house, run up in your face. Then I'm sorry. Ooh, like my mama. I don't want no drama, but rather do Bahamas.
Choice genre be yours? Like, what makes your position be yours? As like, who's to say that you have to stick in the lane? And I definitely want to hear your take on this first name. Like, how do you feel about like categorizing like? And because I feel like an artist has many umbrellas. Like, you're an artist in your own craft. Like.
Marie said, "Is music playing?"
No. Is there music playing?
She sent me a text saying, "Hey, yo, music is playing."
That's crazy. What is going on?
No. Is her music playing?
No, 'cause I got the same message. I got someone just texted me said the music is louder.
What music?
Alexis texted me, yeah.
Okay.
Song is louder than us talking.
Weird.
We're trying to figure it out. We're not playing music right now, so
I know.
that's a weird.
Yeah, that's crazy. What are they listening on?
Leave YouTube. Let me see.
And what is this? What music?
I don't know.
She just said it stopped.
What?
Oh,
What?
Nothing changed.
Okay.
well,
But yeah. So what? So what makes someone have a specific?
I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing.
You figured it out.
I did.
Mad's new song is playing. Okay.
Period.
The only way that makes sense is it doesn't.
Making a nigga won't fight you. Making a nigga won't hide you. Making it safer beside you. Better off looking the Bible. Let Bible.
Do you know how much money that costs? All right.
All right, we good.
Okay. So yeah.
Dang, we going this whole time. We've been going in too. We've been going in.
Nah, well, I mean, it's interesting because the people on IG, which is where that stream is going, they've been responding.
Yeah.
Like, it's all up. So I guess
Post-
they've
post
heard
on
us.
Facebook.
Yeah. Big shout out Denzel, you know what I'm saying? Chiming in.
Washington. Period.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? The OG is here, man.
Come on.
Let's
But
get it.
yeah, man. Like what categorizes you as like solely a producer? Like realizing that artist, in my opinion, has many umbrellas. Like, because you're an art of your craft, and your craft is many things. Though you've gotten more recognition in other things than you have in more things than you have in others, but like, what specifically signifies you as just this right here instead of just calling yourself an artist? Does that mean that like you have to in order to call yourself an artist, do you have to be the one performing on stage, or can you still call yourself with the mic in your hand and saying words, or can you still call yourself that same artist even if you're spinning records, or what I'm saying, doing digital work on the stage? Like what signal, how come we can't call ourselves like artists, like as a whole, period? It has to be like a producer, or I'm an engineer. An engineer is an artist too, because it's a true art form, the way that they get our vocals together. You know what I'm saying? So like how do you feel about that? And I hope I said that in a good way, so it could be understood, period.
I think it's being more known that like an artist can be multifaceted, especially I think just now in mainly possibly because of just the society where we are financially, where just the world is. But I think you're starting to see more people tap into these other things of being an artist, and a lot of them is because they have to. Like now, just even putting your art on social media on some like I'm a director as well, because now they have to shoot their content a certain way for their audience, for just what they do. So if you ain't got the people, you become the person. And sometimes it's just off of just working and training or whatever, but a lot of times it's because you have an idea and you're trying to get that idea out. I don't know if that makes sense with what you're just asking.
Not really.
I'm mad lost. Huh?
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to.
But how you feel about that question, kid?
Yeah, what basically like what makes somebody not an artist?
Yes.
What makes somebody not an artist?
Yeah. So, I think because you were just talking about like, okay, yeah, the engineer's an artist, like, the producer's an artist. Why are we differentiating in this way? Yeah, I think more so just because there's different kinds of artists, and you need a name for it to be able to properly identify what they're doing. Like, I'm an artist, you're an artist, but what we did is different. So we're gonna say you were the singer, and I was the beat maker. You know what I mean? And that helps, just for us to be able to even just have a conversation of like how we even contribute to this piece of art. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that. I feel like that. That's on the the basic level. Now there are people who would say, if I was the producer or whatever, then I'm not the artist. But I think that's more so like a context.
It is context.
That and sometimes it just gets out of hand. But
what you think, Nate? Oh, I'm sorry. No, were you finished?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sorry. Okay.
For sake of clarity, make sure I'm answering the question. Can you restate the question?
Yes. So what defies you? What defies you as just being like a producer or just an engineer? Like, how come your position can't just call you an artist? Because sometimes you have to play many roles.
Yeah.
As an artist in your craft.
I can't think of a role an artist plays that doesn't have another name. Right, so like even if you're a comic book artist, they call you a comic book artist. Like even if you're a visual artist, if you're there, it's like every version of being an artist will require some specificity because there's a whole bunch of artists.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the thing that's being not said but is being inferred is the fact that like making art commercially available has changed the context of who is prioritized to be called an artist. Right? Yeah. So like you got 30 artists in a room standing next to Jennifer Lopez. When they say the artist, they're going to be pointing at Jennifer Lopez. You know what I'm saying? And all the other artists do art, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
but she's the product. And so now it's about the product.
right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I said Jennifer Lopez. That was mad random. But I don't really be listening to Jennifer Lopez like that. Jenny from the block, what up? Yeah.
That's the artist, you know what I mean?
I don't even know. It might be a slight diss, but I don't know. Shout out to my subconscious speaking through me.
J-Lo?
Yeah.
No regrets.
But I'm just saying, like, you know, that's. I'm curious how much she knows about the Diddy stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna fall back. But yeah. I mean, I think that's really what it is. It's like, you know, it's who gets called the artist is all for the sake of being commercially viable and sellable, right? Like, you know, I think that's. You know, that's why there's like fewer and fewer like rap groups. It's just rappers now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just a focus on a central thing. You know, that's the product. I think everybody's an artist. Everybody involved who's using their mind to create, manipulate an idea is an artist. I think they know that they're artists. They just may not even call themselves the artist because they're trying to sell records. They're trying to sell a product, and they understand what that means in the context of the music in the industry, the music business. You know, yeah.
Business.
So yeah, I think you know, I think, and I understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like I may not agree with all colloquialisms, all like simple ideas, but when people use them, I'll know how to communicate. Like every time somebody's like, "Yo, we need to talk to the artist," I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, bro, we're all artists." Like I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I may not agree, but I
yeah.
understand that these are the
Okay, yeah.
terminologies of this industry.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
For sure.
Hey, bro.
Wait a minute.
it's unfair, bro.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah, exactly. Now hey, see what you're trying to do. Nah, no.
Yo, where's the artist? We had an awesome show. And okay, like, all right, artists ready? Everybody stand up.
Right.
We're all artists here.
Yeah.
Like, that would be crazy. That would be crazy, bro. I would have to laugh.
Wait a minute, bro.
Okay, where's the product?
That's the real.
Hey.
That's the real question.
That's the real name.
That's the real question.
product.
Yo.
That's the real question.
Dang. So
Yeah,
what
call the
differentiates you from being a product and an artist?
Now that's
That's
a real question. That's a real question because
Wow.
and if I'm being real, I think historically, I have a great say in answering that question, but I think you, Unique, should answer that question, right? Like, you have been, and I'm gonna save all the details for you. You know what I'm saying? But at one point, as brilliant of an artist as you are, as great of a writer as you are, as sellable visually as you are, right? Someone had you in the background,
Yeah.
supplying for someone else that they
To be the
thought
product.
could be the product,
Yeah, that's interesting.
right?
Yeah.
Now you're no longer in that position, right? You know, now you're finding your way to making yourself your own product,
Yeah.
right? Why do you think there were parts of your career where you were relegated to not being the product?
I didn't present myself as such.
What does that mean? So how would one present themselves as a product?
I really wasn't like doing what it took to be the product. I was more so accepting where I was. I wasn't pushing to be my own product, to be honest. I was hoping someone would make me the product instead of becoming. And when I chose to become, I started doing it for myself. Yeah. And you know, with the camaraderie of my peers around me. Yeah. Damn.
Okay. So I mean, that sounds like a real moment of self accountability in that?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It really was.
Do you mind going into detail in terms of like what are the things that you weren't doing that maybe you should have been doing?
I wasn't dieting. I wasn't disciplined.
Okay, so time out. So
That's the,
so I mean, this is obvious to the world,
Yeah.
but for the sake of answering this question, we're saying that as a musician, right? Now, music is something that you listen to primarily, right? We're acknowledging that the visual component of this is so important that you not making yourself a music-driven product can start with you not dieting for the sake of how you appear, correct?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Not and going further is my mental health. My mental health was not there. Just trauma always made me feel like someone was offending me, and I would be fearful of everything. Wouldn't want to try nothing. Yeah, and I just took all that shit and I stopped believing those things that weren't true about myself. Like literally, I still do that to this day. And I practice more healthier habits so I can become that product that I want to see, that I feel like the world needs to see. Yeah.
Hold on, but
respect that.
before we go any further, man, I'm gonna clap it up for that.
Yeah, I respect that.
I'm gonna clap it up for that, and I'm gonna tell you why, man. I'm gonna tell you why. Let me get the camera on me right quick, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let me get the camera on me right quick. Let's see. Hold on. Where is it? Come on, stream that.
You got a lot happening.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm clapping it up right now for that for a couple of reasons. I mean, anyone who knows me knows that like I am not a fan of how much I miss when every musician was ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when you got the best music. When nobody cared. You know what I'm saying? It was just great music, period. You know what I'm saying? And now, if you don't fit certain standards, they will push you into the shadows.
Literally.
And help you supply someone who does meet those standards. I'm not a fan of that. Now, I'm a competitor though. So I can not be a fan of that and understand that's the industry we're in.
Yeah.
Understand the stakes and understand the goals of one who wants to play within that industry.
Yeah.
Right? If you're trying to join that industry, well, these are things that matter. Like you can buck against the system or not, but you're naive to suggest that that's not how the industry operates. Right? Okay, I'm clapping it up because I'm here to tell you, Unique, there is a mob of people in the world and on the internet ready for you to simply say, because they didn't see the value in me. They was sleeping. They was hating on me. The patriarchy. Something, anything, any reason to make you the victim and make them the villain. And it was all their fault.
Yeah.
And you played no role in it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's one of those people.
There's 6 trillion people. There are more people than are on planet Earth ready to agree with that sentiment, champion you in your victimhood, and say and essentially tell you that you could complain your way to success. Right?
Pretty much.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, but is that what you did?
No.
No. You recognized, even if some of that other stuff is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Even if some of that other stuff is true, that you still played a role. And you're owning your role publicly.
Yeah.
Let's clap it up for that.
No, that's fine.
That is called accountability. That is called accountability. Welcome to accountability. For those who have never heard of this, never understood this concept, you just witnessed it in real time.
Yeah, bro. To be able to be like, you know what? I was fucking up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is and we look at that the book, the Stephen Covey joint, 7 Habits. You know, the greatest quote in that whole book was, "Until you can say that I am where I am today because of the choices I made yesterday, then you can never say I choose differently."
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
That's it.
That's real. It's real as hell. Salute to you, fam.
Nah, extra
That's a
salute to
major
you, bro.
moment.
Extra salute to you.
That's a
I
major
grew up around people who were like 5'7", and they were looking at people who were 6'5", and they was like, "Man, if I was tall, I could dunk." And then some of those 5'7" people said, "Fuck it, I'm not tall. I'm still gonna dunk."
Figure it out.
Man.
They could have blamed their genetics. They could have did all blah. Nope.
Calves be swollen.
Exactly. They didn't care, man. Yes, the odds were against them. Yes, it didn't come out. Yes, it was harder for you than everybody else. But did they complain? No, they recognized I have to work a little bit harder. That's the state of the game. I can say fuck basketball, or I can get what I want out of this bitch.
Oh, that's right.
That's it. And every person we look up to that has accomplished something amazing, that was them. Yeah. They weren't complaining their way to the top. Yeah. So I love it when I see it.
Salute, man. Salute.
Has there ever been a person that complained their way to success?
I ain't never seen that.
Like even on a small level, like can you like win complaining? Has anybody seen that?
You'll win with the complainers. You'll win with them.
I think
And then
due to
eventually
social
they'll get
media,
tired of your shit.
like it can definitely give you a spark.
You
But
like
like on some like real success, long term type,
Because eventually folks will get tired of that shit.
But
Okay.
on some,
I'm just curious because I don't think so. But then I'm like, yo, people might have careers complaining. Like,
nah, that might be a real
Yeah.
job. Like, folks on the hotline just
You
going
You
know
know
what
who
I'm
does though?
Yeah.
I just gotta say a politician.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
They complain on the behalf of complainers. That's facts. That's a real answer. That's factual.
damn,
That's facts.
may the
For
best
real.
complainer win.
Hold on.
Literally.
Think about that though. The world is
Literally.
filled with victims and with victim mentality, right? When you get somebody in high places willing to represent your victimhood, we love you. It's not fair to us. Like
That's real though.
that's real as fuck.
In real time.
So I'll say this:
Absolutely.
if you gonna complain, man, get some money from it, bro. It's like,
Hey, politicians think it is.
get you some bread. But if you gonna just complain, just complain.
Like,
Like,
shut the
Shut the
fuck
fuck up. Like, what you
it's not making you no money.
I don't know.
making you no money.
It's not, bro.
It's really-
It's not. I don't know
Niggas
where that
live
idea
on
came
Facebook
from.
just complain. That's crazy.
No, they really do though. Like you see it everyday live streamers all the time. Just going on there, they got about 5 people just sitting there staring at them. Yeah, we agree.
You know, on the topic of accountability,
You broke and we agree.
on the topic of accountability, I've been thinking about something this week. I just want to word vomit a little bit and get y'all opinions. But this is kind of
Welcome to Kid Maestro, section. Kid Maestro's portion, Kid Maestro's box. Welcome.
I need to get the push so I can just do all my.
I got you straight. You don't need that, bro. I just hit that, bro.
Respect what I do.
Exactly, bro. You trying to act like that wasn't hard, bro. Calm down. No diddy.
Yeah.
But I was listening to 2 very, very accomplished, and when I say accomplished, I mean accomplished as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Producers, and in different lanes, both in the realm of hip hop, but like they just have kind of, you wouldn't necessarily put them in the same kind of conversation, but both have done amazing things and are giving back and inspiring, thousands of producers, right? And when one was talking about this idea of like the whole quantity versus quality kind of conversation, and they were saying that like quality is obviously important, like, but quantity is too, and quality in their experience comes from quantity. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
It comes.
Facts.
That makes sense.
It comes from.
Pause that.
Yes.
Facts. Clap it up for that. That's
that makes
facts.
sense.
Let's
That makes
go.
sense.
Repetitive.
That's facts.
That makes sense.
I make mad beats.
It comes from. Are we okay? Let's just pause.
Yeah. It's pause.
Oh damn.
Pause.
It comes from quantity, and like,
Nah, that's real.
so the important thing that they were saying to focus on is like get your reps in, and of course like do your best, like go for it while you're going. But if you focusing so much on specifically quality over quantity, not focusing on quality, but focusing on quality over quantity, you're gonna end up shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Because like especially when it comes to placements, you know what
You're
I'm
not
saying,
shooting
or
shots.
any realm that you're competing in, the most shots wins.
Yeah.
Like statistically, like
Yeah.
that's what we see. The best shooters focus on the quality of their shot, and they also take the most shots. Period.
Right.
It's facts.
And then I was watching this other one, and this wasn't necessarily about quality over quantity, but they were talking about what they learned from another artist. And what he said was, what I learned from working with this artist was, there's nothing wrong with chasing perfection. And it made me think about how like there's such a like strong narrative of like it's a strong narrative of like this whole idea of perfectionism is the enemy, right? Like if you're chasing perfectionism, you're doing it wrong. If you're chasing perfection, you're doing it wrong. And while I get that, you know what I'm saying? Because especially when it comes to art, music is subjective in its nature. So what is even perfect?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think because we don't hold ourselves accountable. We find like statements and little sayings
Yeah.
to help us dodge like striving for excellence, right?
Yeah.
And they were saying,
cool
yo,
being
there's nothing.
comfortable.
And somebody who was excellent working with another excellent artist was saying, like, yo, there's nothing wrong with trying to make this better than working on something to make it better.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so to me, like as I was synthesizing those like two thoughts that were kind of isolated and not in context with each other, for me, what I like, those both resonated with me individually at the time, but like when I think about it together in my life and just the experiences around here, is that to me the most important thing is wisdom, right? And to me, that shows up in this context as like the ability and the experience and the knowledge to be able to look at where you're at, what room you're in, and what you're doing and what you're trying to do, or what the room is trying to accomplish, and figuring out which version of you is best to show up for that, aka being adaptable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not, and I just feel like sometimes like we just get too like focused on one way to be. Like
Yeah.
we just put these things in opposition to each other too much. Quality is not quantity. You know what I'm saying? Quality, if you're shooting for quality, that inherently means that you're not going to have quantity, right? Because it has to take so much time. Or you can't shoot 1,000 jump shots
Right.
and expect quality, right? Or quality or quantity is not going to help you accomplish your goal. Or if you don't have a certain amount of things, you can't accomplish your goal. And to me, I'm just saying, like, I've experienced both of those. I've been on either one of those paths. Like, I've been the person that, like, yo, I'm finna work on this one thing, until forever, and just be working on stuff for years. And, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, sometimes it comes out dope. A lot of times it just comes out unfinished, right?
Right.
And I've also been on the other side where it's that I'm going.
Yeah.
Hating what I'm making, right?
Yeah.
Feeling like, damn, I wish I had more time on this, right?
Yeah.
And when it's done, feeling like, yeah, man, I probably would have done some things different. But also when it's done, being like, yo, this shit was crack. I was just tripping, and my career's further because it's done and it's moving and it's doing things. And so I just want to just share those experiences and just talk about just how the fact that I think we just be too binary in our thinking in some of these things.
I
like
definitely agree.
you can do both, and maybe not even both at the same time. But I feel like to have a successful career, and Matt, you could speak on this. I feel like you got to do both at some point, at multiple points, and not even
means another 15 minutes.
and not even do one now, and then for the rest of your career, you're only doing this now. Like I feel like it goes back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to see the value in both of those approaches. To be able to like get the most out of life, like this shit. It's like it's deep, but it don't get that deep to where you got to be so singularly minded on a way to do things.
Yeah.
I feel that. For sure.
Nah, I think you get a lot of valid points, a lot of things I know I've lived through, but I think the most important part is this. Like, you can have quantity and quality after a whole bunch of quality and a whole bunch of quantity. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's called being a sniper. A sniper is an amazingly accurate shot, right? With a high percentage rate of accuracy, right? But that comes after tens of thousands of shots. That also comes out of some shots that take you a day to shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you have to do all of the reps. It's just like going to the gym. Like, it's about form, right? As much as it is about how much, right?
Right.
But what I find though is that people get stuck in one of the two. And this has just been my experience just as a human being, not even as a producer, but as a human being. People tend to stray away from having to make choices. Like choices is like the devil. You know what I'm saying? People prefer it's done this way.
Yep.
It's done that way. People don't like to have multiple tools.
Yeah.
People want when I talk, it's like this. Right. When I express myself, it's like that. Nobody wants to sit and figure out, okay, when do I express myself like this?
Right.
When do I express myself like that? Right? But there's to me, the number one reason why excellence, true excellence, right, is very few and far between is because true excellence comes at the hands of multiple tools. And this is why the wisdom to know the difference. When you said wisdom, but in my head I said to know the difference. Right? The serenity prayer, right? It's knowing, it's discernment.
Yeah.
It is decision making, right? It is knowing that you know how you one of the great tools that I have as a leader is that I don't talk to everyone in my team the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
All of them have different motivations, different things that inspire them, different things that threaten them, different things that turn off their creativity, right? I don't just walk in and hit everybody with a sledgehammer. No. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm trying to inspire or motivate someone, I have to be acutely aware of that person, right? And the same thing happens with your art, right? Or with anything that you're trying to get good at, right? Is that you have to explore it, man. And that's what it is sometimes you're doing it fast, sometimes you're doing it slow, sometimes you're doing quality, sometimes you're doing quantity. It's all for exploring.
Yeah.
You want to know the most about this, right? Sometimes you're going to make something in the microwave. Sometimes you're going to make it in the oven, right?
Yeah.
You're just doing that to see. I wonder what it looks like in the microwave. Because you're so curious about it that you want to explore the various ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And then that's what makes you efficient. This is why at even some of the top chef spots, they will have a microwave in that bitch because even though they might put something in the oven, right? There might be a time when things gotta happen quick, and they know that this underneath a wet paper towel in the microwave, no one would notice the difference.
Right. Yeah.
Right? But they wouldn't only know. Think about it. If they was like, no, everything must go in this $10,000 oven at all times, you'd be asked out right there.
Yeah.
You'd be asked out right there.
A convection of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and so, and that's the other thing, bruh. I feel like that curiosity, sometimes I just feel like we be trying to control too much, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like all you really can control is your actions, right? You can control your faith, right? Your belief, right? And what you do is gonna be, you know what I'm saying, some sort of product or equation of those two things, right? But when things happen, like who shows up in front of you, you know, the opportunities that like get presented to you at what time or whatever, all of those things, like you can't force any of those things to happen. You could just like show up. And I feel like in general in life, a lot of times we just don't show up to life. And, you know, sometimes the opportunity comes just because you were curious about something.
Yeah.
But you didn't follow it, right? And so like sometimes like I was curious about standalone, right? And so I followed that into I followed that into, okay, I'm making beats for a year with no computer. Just to see, to see what it is. Right? And then that led to a catalog and, just all kind of whatever stuff that happened because I was doing that.
Right.
Same thing with playback engineer. I heard about it. I was like, oh, I feel like I could do that. And I learned about it. Practice on an artist locally. I'm doing with Miss Lauryn Hill now. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are opportunities that wasn't like an opportunity like somebody saying, yo, come with me to the studio. Right. That's a more traditional type of opportunity. Yeah. That's not an opportunity like, yo, somebody dropped out on me, I needed to perform. You know what I'm saying? That's a different kind of opportunity. A lot of opportunities present themselves just because God put it in a way to make you curious about something, right? In a moment, and you could just ignore it and be like, and then just keep doing what you was already doing, or you can follow it, right? And never know where you are. And so I feel like you gotta like earnestly follow your curiosities.
You know what it is though, bro? Now, you know what it is though, bro? When I encounter people who I find aren't willing to explore their curiosities in that kind of way,
Yeah.
you know what it is though, bro? It's fear of failure. The thing that I recognize is like exploring your curiosity. It might be top 5 most ambiguous things you do in your life.
Man.
Right?
don't
Like
know.
in part, like let's use you with the playback engineer, right? Like you don't know, like I said, like you said, it's not a direct opportunity. For all you know, you might be putting tens of thousands of hours into something that might go nowhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, right? I find that people don't do well with ambiguity. That's what it is. It's going back to what I was saying before. Like, I like knowing everything about my devices. Everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but like, I'd be lying if I didn't say, like, there is some part of me that's like, man, I don't need to know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just focus on what matters the most because efficiency, time, I'm running out of time, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like that monkey on your back of like, let me make the most of this time and get the best results, you know, and try to keep it as efficient as possible. It takes an explorative nature to be like, you know what? I don't never use that button, but what is that button?
Yeah. Yeah.
And let me dedicate some time to that. Let me go and, you know what? I can't find it on YouTube. I'm gonna have to go through 13 different videos on YouTube to find what that button is. I'll do it. I'll do it because I really want to know.
Yeah.
Right? Right. I find that like there is a fear of wasting time, and then there's just a general fear of failure because curiosity explored is filled with ambiguity and not a lot of direction. You know what I'm saying? Not as much direction as, oh, you have a show. This is how long it's going to be. You know what, Kid? And I feel like, Kid, you can speak to this in a bit. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first met Kid Maestro, you know, if he wasn't 86,000% prepared for something, he was very likely to say, no, I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And there was a fear of maybe failure or...
Yeah, or just... I mean, I think failure at the root of it. I mean, failure looks differently. You know what I'm saying? Because... I don't think if you would have said, yo, are you afraid of failing? I don't think I would have said yes.
Right.
But failing just looks differently. Sometimes it's embarrassment. So failure to uphold a certain perception of yourself or failure to execute at a certain level or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I also think there's a fear of success too.
That's the thing.
There's a fear of change. I think it's a fear of like, yo, after this, my situation might be different. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would agree. Like, those things ultimately will make you hesitate. You hesitate long enough, you just won't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dog. And this is how I look at everything, bro.
That's right.
I love the progression of this dialogue that we've been having because it started off as longer sentences and longer ideas, and then it broke into a fear of something, right? And so it's a shorter idea, it's a fear of something, and then we figured out it's a fear of this, fear of that, fear of this, right? And so now we're breaking it down to actually the sentence can just be fear,
Yeah.
right?
Facts.
Right? And I find that like a unique level of self-awareness is what allows you to know I am operating in fear.
Yeah.
Like, and then once you do that, and this is my thing, bro. I look at fear like if fear determines what I do, I feel like a hoe.
Bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not out here trying to act like I'm not human, like I don't deal with fear. You know what I'm saying? But if I ever said out loud I'm not gonna do something because I'm afraid, I would feel like a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm not gonna let fear win. Especially when there's so much objective truth to suggest that doing this will lead to a positive outcome.
Yeah.
It is just fear? That's it? That's gonna stop me? No, my G. Not me. Not me. You know, it's funny. My wife, when she met me, she swore I was the most confident person ever. And we've had this conversation, you know, once a year over the past 20 years. You know what I'm saying? She swears that when she met me, I was the most confident person ever. And I'd be having to convince her. I'd be like, look, I was not confident. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like, I can solve any and all problems. I do everything and it wins and it works. Nah. I was like, but what is rare is seeing someone who is afraid and unsure still do it. Right?
Yeah.
And it comes off looking like you know what you're doing. I did not. I just wasn't going to not do it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's not me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and bro.
Yeah.
Yo, you ever? All right. We got any more topics? Because this is just kind of.
Do we got one time?
I think we got one.
I mean, we got
more.
one more. It was honestly blending in with everything that we've been talking about the past 20 minutes. It's just like, first, like, start off with you with the accountability. But it goes to what I was saying is just being obsessed with being a nerd and, like, how there's nothing wrong with that, because if we look at the people that we idolize or we deem as successful, they're nerds, you know, and even about like you taking accountability, it's being nerdy enough within your craft to know like this matters. So I need to own up and change these things to get to where I see myself at within my discipline that I nerd out about. And just like everything that we've been discussing, it leans into that, man. And I'm just like, why is it that, of course, growing up being a nerd, and like you were saying earlier, it traditionally it doesn't look, it's not associated with being cool.
Yeah.
But like all the things that we look at and deem are cool come from being nerds and putting them out into the world. Like, you thinking about Teslas or whatever. You love Tesla or whatever. Like, a nerd had to have that idea and study his stuff enough to know who to hire, know who's great at what they're doing or whatever to bring this idea to life. So, like, why is it put on us so early, like, no matter what you're doing, that you can't associate being a nerd with being cool?
Because it has its like real dark spaces starting off, because you don't realize like how nerdy you can be, or that is even allowed at first. Because coming from a space of like being, I'll say, in a trap, I didn't know it was okay to be a nerd. I didn't know it was okay to only do what I liked. You know what I'm saying? Or to
Where I'm from, it was dangerous to be a nerd.
yeah,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
it really was. So I feel like the fact of people needing to be obsessed with it, it comes like it's kind of like a trauma response almost. Like it's something that we have to choose. Like I'm gonna choose to be like this and not give a fuck not how nobody feels about it. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. And I'm gonna obsess with this option that I've made to be this way. And that's how I feel about that.
I feel that.
Yeah. Now, this real social currency is a real thing, and it's a real thing at a very young age.
Well, I was gonna say social currency is the first currency.
Yeah.
And some people get stuck in that
Yeah.
currency. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, if whatever you happen to be, you know, intrigued with, that you would be a nerd about, if other people don't understand it, right? If they don't get it, like your social currency is a, you know, at threat. You know what I mean? And
That's
so,
right.
you know, we can't act like, you know, that's not important. You know, there's at the extreme end, there are threats of violence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Threats, you know, at your life. You know, in other words, it's just straight up alienation and being alone, which are very anti-human. Like, we're not designed to be alone and by ourselves. Like, we as people need community. So when your interests threaten your ability to form community, right, constantly, like that's not a great life. And so sometimes, like, so if you lean into the thing that's alienating you from people, like that's hard to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could get in a momentum of that where it's like, yo, doing too much, you know what I'm saying, is generally not looked at it as a good thing until it is, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if you was a nerd about Jordans, right, and knew all the Jordans and drew them all or whatever, nerd out about that, a lot of times for a lot of people, that's
Cool.
that's an acceptable thing
Yeah.
to nerd out about. And then now you're cool, you accept it, whatever, because you know it's a more accepted interest or whatever. But nerding out about, you know,
Making the actual Jordan.
you know, woodworking or whatever it was, or nerding out about calculus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think what I'm getting from all of this, like, is that
There's a dark side to this conversation.
yeah,
but
but I'm leaning
Yeah.
towards the importance of community, because all of these things that we're talking about, like just nerding out in, if you're within the right community, it's looked at and it's praised, it's celebrated.
Yeah.
But you know, we don't always get the opportunity to be around those communities. A lot of us start off not in the community that we.
yeah, no one grows up choosing their community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get put into communities and you learn how to survive. But no one's 7, like, let's go to the right community for me.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I live this, you know what I'm saying? I just call myself Nerds from the Projects, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was challenging, man, but I think that there's a dark side to this. The dark side to this is that, you know, there are 2 elements to the dark side of this. Number one is like insecurity, right? There are a lot of people who don't like you being smart because they don't feel smart.
Yeah. That's so
That's it.
unfortunate.
It's a real
It's sad.
thing.
Like people, like jealousy is a real thing,
Yes.
right? And you know, and that manifests itself sometimes in picking on nerds.
Yeah.
Right? And then that makes being a nerd unattractive, right? Because nobody wants to get picked on, right? Then there's also like dealing with the opposite, or, you know, dealing with people that you're attracted to, right? You know, there is a very colloquial phrase that I do not use, that many use, and people will understand when I say this. There's a such thing as scaring the hose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a real
that's-
thing.
Now,
That's definitely
anyone-
a real thing.
Anyone who has ever considered themselves a nerd
Or scaring
has
the niggas
discussed
away.
something that they were a nerd about and felt
Yeah.
like, damn, am I doing that?
Am I talking too much? Like type shit?
That's
yeah.
real. That's real.
Yeah. Women feel it too.
The look on his face is like, damn, he right, bro. He know what it is. He know what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, and a lot of times, just putting it out there, a lot of times, you know, extreme detail and these kinds of discussions, and I'm not even saying it's all the time, but I feel like anyone, if you've ever been a real self-described nerd and you know that you nerd out on things, you know you've had a conversation with someone, and how deeply you know or understand something can be off-putting to some people,
Very much.
right? And it lands on you the most in romantic interests, because that's a deeply vulnerable space. It's not the same as just like a homie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you're actually trying to talk to somebody that you're romantically interested in, and you being a nerd is off-putting, you might want to hide it.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. That's real. It's real.
It's very real.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even want to start telling those stories. But I'm
Yeah,
good.
that's gonna go into a whole different kind of like, cause I'm thinking, yeah, that's
That is so freaking true.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just hid myself for so long because of that fact right there. Like, and I know I nerd out about certain shit, like even crocheting. Like, I could talk about that all day and niggas will look at me like, the fuck? Like, oh, she one of them. I'll be called one of them. And then I won't hear from them anymore type shit.
Man, you know what I've found though, like, cause you're right. Like, if you can move past the social currency as the only currency, I have definitely found later in my life that there is another side. If you can survive long enough
Yeah.
to get to it, to where
Yeah.
like people, you know, because everybody is a victim. I don't think anybody, whether you decided to, you know, live in your nerdiness or not growing up, I feel like everybody had to make that choice at multiple points in their life, right? To, you know what I'm saying? In order for their social currency to remain intact or whatever, forever they want it. But I think that has been a thing for so long that when you're older, and that type shit matters way less.
Yeah.
When you meet nerds
Yeah.
as an adult,
It's
it's different,
it's
bro.
Very different because you understand.
Yeah. It does not scare the hoes as much anymore.
At all.
You know
It
what I'm
actually
saying? I can
invites
definitely
them.
attest to that.
It
You know what I mean?
definitely invites them.
Oh, no, it's different.
This man out here getting all the hoes, man. I can definitely attest to that.
I'm just saying I'm not scaring them. That's what I'm saying. Like,
We know what you're saying, my guy.
right. We read between the lines.
We know what it is,
yeah,
bro.
bro.
Yo, shit, man.
It's a thing, like,
Yeah.
and it's weird when you grew up, like, when it was scaring people, when nobody wanted to, when you was doing too much, and now, now
we look for that.
everybody wants somebody who's passionate, who's got vision, and you know what I'm saying, like,
of a sudden.
and it's like,
Now that shit is trendy, bro.
bro,
Yo, for real. though.
Some of us been like this.
Like,
Shit.
damn.
it was like, wow, and so it just be weird, like,
Passionate about that.
oh yeah, you.
Don't get me started.
Hey, yo, for real.
Don't get me
though.
started, bro.
Bro, yo, people been talking. What y'all got to say?
Oh yeah, I've been
Oh,
going.
no, that was a while back. Yeah. On this topic, ain't nobody really got nothing to say, bro. I feel like they looking at us like we some nerds, bro. Man, that's y'all, bro. I'm straight.
Right.
Look at all of us going to the doctor.
Last comment 15 minutes ago, bro. They ain't saying that on
They
this
say y'all
show, bro.
scaring the hoes.
Exactly. We gotta be up. That's funny as hell. That man looking for validation. I'm feeling vulnerable. What they saying? They ain't saying nothing.
Yo, that's hilarious.
Once you get a certain age, you got to be okay with being a nerd, man. Like, you just got to accept it.
You just got to be okay with being your fucking self.
That's it.
However that fucking looks.
Bro, you know, I feel like I'm gonna say this though, like, I think, and I'm gonna just say this, but just know that I'm still developing this. I'm still developing the refined version of this.
Okay.
But like, it's a balance. Like, there is a such thing of learning how to read the room.
No, that's
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Learning how to gauge. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of nerds often don't.
Yeah.
They act like nobody else is in the room with them. You know what I'm saying?
You know what it is, though? Okay, no. I mean,
That's
I learned that in New York, right? Knowing how to read the room, a.k.a. being emotionally intelligent, right? Knowing how to read the energy. But you know what? Another thing that we're not really talking about here, right, that is true. Like, right now, we are not being accountable. We weren't. Kid introduced self-accountability for the nerds. Let me further this thought. Also, many nerds are just terrible communicators,
Yeah.
right?
That's real.
Like, you could have great ideas and in-depth ideas, but if you know how to present them in almost a story-esque way,
That's right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Man, you'd be surprised how many people will, flip that into admiration.
Yeah.
That's real.
Right? If you know how to explain, if you know an idea well enough to know how to communicate it to people who are not you.
Yeah.
Right? You're not talking to yourself. You're talking to somebody else with a very different experience.
Right.
And so that was me.
That's right.
I was a nerd and I was out here blaming everybody else. No one gets me. I'm so you know what I'm saying? But then at some point I said, okay, wait a minute. I got to become a better communicator.
Yeah.
And when I did, I still am just as equally nerdy as I was back then. It's just that now I did a TED Talk. I know how to explain ideas and command attention and over a long periods of time to make very complex points. Right? I don't find myself having to truncate my ideas anymore just to get them, out there. I can make complex points because I know how to tell a story.
Yeah.
Right? And so I would tell people like, yo, meet people halfway, right? Like, you want them to come to your world, how about y'all just meet in the middle? But that requires you to take some steps.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to, and I guess you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You care about what you care about, and it could be just for you. But if part of your passion is the desire to share it, like, like that should be important to you. It may be like, damn, why do I got to do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get the initial resistance, but that should be important to you if whatever it is that you're nerding out about if you feel is worth sharing.
Right.
Because nobody likes to talk to people and they don't understand it. Like,
Yeah.
You know, to me, that's super
Okay,
just
so-
self-centered. You just want to talk just to
Hear yourself.
show off that you know stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want people to not understand you. Like, no, you want to be understood when you speak. So figure out like how to help that land better.
But again, this goes back to 45 minutes ago, bro. Like, for some reason, it feels like more than half the population is deeply attracted to victimhood. Right? Because that's what keeps you from holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
So it keeps you from saying, I actually need to get
Pointing the
better,
finger.
and just pointing the finger and blaming everybody else. Is that, no, the world is doing me wrong. This is unfair. Right? For some reason, complaining is just a great thing to do. I don't understand you because y'all are just going to lose. Y'all not going to get nowhere complaining. You're just going to be surrounded by other losers. Like,
Literally.
that's it.
Literally.
Like,
cheering you on to loserdom.
that's it, man. Y'all just going to complain together in a choir. That's it.
Yeah, that would be an amazing like performance.
That's the only way they win.
A choir of complainers. All of them in the robes. It's a conductor. And they just start complaining.
Tell me, go to the White House.
Big up everybody chiming in, by the way. We got some responses. Jay Gill said he just broke out laughing at us because we was nerds.
Dang, 'cause
Leslie
we was
says
scared
we were
of
listening, so that's why
Oh,
they
period.
just was deeply listening. You know what I mean? Big shout out, Leslie.
out.
Kelly Green says folks have to learn. Yo, sentences to start with, folks. You about to get you about to get this right here.
Folks need to learn.
Folks have to learn to be diverse. Continue to be comfortable in your own skin. That's facts. Corey says what it do.
What do you do?
Shout out Corey. You know what I'm saying? What it do. Leslie says, but just as nerds have to learn to communicate, do any of y'all feel like people who are not considered nerdy can stand to be a little bit more accepting and aware of people who may ramble about what they like? I'm probably too nice. But when I come across people who are just going on about something I have no idea about, I try to listen because I see it makes,
Them
my bad,
happy.
new comment. It makes them happy. Yeah. And they probably don't get to have many of those combos with people who are different from them. Yeah.
We definitely
Because
appreciate
people are typically
appreciate it.
mean and dismissive about that kind of thing. Absolutely. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like that's, I would like to think I built a place where people
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, we experience that on a very regular basis here because, you know, a part of the culture of this place and our company is to allow people that space to do exactly that, right? And then to eventually become better communicators of their idea. Now, with that being said, though, right, as you also stated, you know, most people are not that, right? And so for me, when I allow people the space to do that, I allow them to be able to get out their ideas. We allow each other to all listen to each other and help each other grow, right? But it is with the understanding that the rest of the world is not this place.
Yeah.
Right? The best thing I can do is create a safe space for you to be able to do what you need to do and also prepare for the fact that most people are not us. You still got to go out in that world and communicate your ideas. So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of finding space and at the same time realizing this space ain't the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man. Bruh. You ever talk to somebody that like just was not apparently passionate about anything?
Yes. And it's
especially
so
now.
fucking draining.
Especially now.
Oh my fucking God.
Especially now. Passion is a dying thing.
Do you like? And I guess nobody
Like
really
they're passionate about fucking complaining about everything.
That's what they
pointing the
passionate
fucking finger.
That's facts.
Like, that shit is
need
so
to quiet
good.
together,
But
man.
do y'all think like fundamentally, and I feel like this, I don't know if there's a real way to know this for sure.
Yeah.
But do y'all think like fundamentally that exists? That there is something, that there are people who literally like don't deeply care about anything?
Yeah.
I think
They very much so exist.
Or do you think
about to
that
go
people
down
just
the hole.
don't?
Okay, so
They
I don't.
Okay, go ahead, Nate.
No, you got it. Go ahead. No, you were talking.
I feel like they don't care about themselves or anything else only because they weren't taught to care. And even if they did get that opportunity to be taught, they just stopped caring for whatever traumatic reason or whatever or whatnot. But I think people have their various reasons, but everybody cares about something. Something. Even the people that act like they don't give a fuck about shit. somebody they care about something. It may not be the same thing that we feel deemed to be something that you care about, but yeah. But go ahead, Nee.
Okay, so when I was 18, so I've been, intensively passionate about music and creating things for as long as I can remember. And when I was 18, I went to college. I went to UCF, and I just like I could not join in on anybody's regular conversation about things. Like I was terrible at that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I found that like my little gateway to get people into my world was like I was just gonna ask them like, yo, what do you do? Nah. And I was always ready to stop whatever they said and challenge them. Yo, what do you do? And then whatever they said, I'm like, nah, what do you really do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you can't stop thinking about that you do, you know? And I would encounter people who would be like, right now I'm going to school, you know? And I'd be like, that's what's up. I mean, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and, but then I would follow with like, okay, what are you going to school for? And they would be like, I don't know, literature, or communications or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, communications. Okay, so like, why? Like, what do you want to do? You know what I'm saying? And, and it would still be like, well, I feel like I can get a good job with that and blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, and I just kept running into these dead ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, get a good job. Okay. And I would go back to my dorm, like, or my apartment. I would be so confused because I would be like, okay, everybody has something that they're extremely passionate about, right? Maybe these people are just too afraid to expose it yet, to say it out loud, or maybe they just haven't discovered it yet. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I began to realize, like, one of the biggest blessings in my life was just coming to a conclusion on exactly what I wanted to do so early.
Yeah.
Right? So by the time I was 12, I was like, I know what I want to do. That's it. But I guess that's not normal. That's not average. Yeah. Now, that was when I was 18, right? I am significantly older now. You know what I'm saying? And I still run into the same exact thing. Now, with that being said, it's kind of hard to still let one of those reasons continue to live, which is like, oh, okay, well, maybe they just haven't found it yet. Right? Because I'm not just talking to 18-year-olds now. I talk to people who are 50, 60, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely. Who are just like, yeah, man, I work a good job. I pay my bills. Life is good.
Bro, I could.
You know what I'm saying? And the difference between me now and me then was that if somebody had told me that life is good because I have a good job and I pay my bills, I would have thought that sounds like fucking torture to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, after living my life a lot longer, I realized, like, man, there are so many different versions of a good life. Right? And there are a lot of people on this planet who will admire your passion but never have that.
Yeah.
And if they do have it, it won't show up looking typically like the kind of passion we notice. Right? Like, it'll be a passion to about for themselves, right? To have a good job.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a passion to do or accomplish anything, as much as it is a problem to like, and a passion to like not be a burden to somebody else or to society, but to just fulfill like, I am an adult.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the extent of their passion, is just to know that like, I am taking care of myself. My parents don't have to look after me. Nobody's got to save my life. I'm taking care of myself. I have a decent car. Like, these are the things that I'm willing to take extreme risks to maintain. Right? And that's what passion is. Now, to us as artists, I would think most of us would not look at that as passion. Right? But I think to a lot of people that is.
Yeah.
Right?
Majority.
I am not in a place where I would say majority or minority at this point. I just know that in my experience, right? I come across a lot of people who have that kind of passion. And I'm gonna be real. When they witness me, whether it's talk to people, whether it's to speak at some place or to do what I do, right? I've seen those people a lot of times feel like, and they've admitted this to me, you know what I'm saying? That they feel like something is missing in them for not having that kind of passion for something. You know what I'm saying? Like they will feel like there's a missing piece of their firmware, you know, or that like they didn't get the support as a child to find their passions. They didn't get there's something that they're trying to figure out. Like, wow, why don't I feel like that about something, right? And you know, I don't know if I'll ever know why that happens to some people and why that doesn't happen to other people. I do know this though. I've been passionate about anything I've ever done since I can remember. So even before it was music, like big shout out my cousin Jason. My cousin Jason told me when I was like 7, you know what I'm saying? He was like, James, whatever you do that just serious as hell. You know what I'm saying? And it was just because like whatever I'm doing, I'm so locked into trying to be great at it.
Yeah.
You know? And so I don't know where that came from. I can't remember. I remember most things my dad said to me that affected my life. And he has affected my life in so many ways. There's so many quotables that I tell y'all, that I tell the people who I mentor, or that I tell people that I got directly from my dad.
Yeah.
This is not one of them. I don't know how I ended up like this. I truly don't. You know, I could throw out there like, yo, being in the hood and blah, 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 you got to make it. Nah, I was like this before I was deep in the hood. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where that fork in the road happens, but I just know that some of us are like that and some of us aren't.
Yeah, I have this like belief that we're all here to, you know, to different degrees. I don't think everybody is here to be Elon Musk or, you know, can be or will be. But I think all of us are here to create something. You know what I mean? I feel like that's like a fundamental key of having a fulfilled life.
Purposeful
Right?
life.
Yeah. To be creative in some sort of way. To be able to throw your all into something. And sometimes that's just like literally just serving other people. I know
Literally.
people I know people who their passion was to have children. You know? Like,
Absolutely.
That was like their thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anything beyond that was just whatever, just support.
It's outside
being
of
able to-
what they're-
You know what I'm saying? It was just like, yeah, get a job, whatever. But like being a parent was like, yo, this is I feel like
And I
you know
respect
what I want to
it.
do.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I just not, you know, the people I know like that, I could ask them that and they
Yeah.
could tell me that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
But when I, you know, similar to you, I guess when you were 18, like when they be like, just whatever, I just be wondering, is that real or is it one of the things you said? Like they just don't know or they're afraid to tell me or, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm missing something about what passion even is in the first place. You know what I mean?
Well, man, look. If you know you got passion about this music shit, we are currently accepting applications for the internship.
The transition, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, man, if you're passionate about this music, passionate about learning, you know, and you trying to find your community within this music shit, so you can nerd out and be amongst people that do this shit successfully, and like learn and figured out how to make a business out of it, man. I encourage you to apply.
If you want to learn how to not scare the hoes
Man, you know,
and remain passionate,
that's it. You know, find that balance.
Gotcha.
Man.
Period.
Kelly says, Kelly's my cousin, by the way.
Shout out, cuz.
She, by the way, an amazing singer.
Come on.
I mean, an amazing singer. It's
Come on
hard to
here.
like not have a tear in your eye when she sings. She says that it came from your lineage. I don't know, Kelly. I don't know. We gonna have a conversation one day. There's a lot of things in our lineage, a lot of skill, a lot of talent, but this level of passion, I don't know, fam.
Insanity level.
I don't know. I'm going on record right now. The only person I know in this family that was this passionate about what they did was probably Dexter. My cousin Dexter. Big shout out Dexter Haygood. That man was not going out. That man was extremely passionate.
Man, family chat about to blow up.
Man, yeah, right? All my family about to happen there.
Wait a minute.
But they know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Like, y'all know what it is. Y'all look at me too like I'm an alien, bro. Like, don't play me. Don't all of a sudden, no, we all like that. No, you ain't. No, you ain't, and you know it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dukes fam. Shout out to the Jones Walker fam.
next family reunion about to be lit.
Crazy. Hey, y'all know what it is.
Yo, period.
I love it, man.
They know what it is, fam. Nah, but shout out my family, you know what I mean?
It's a passion is a necessity for us
Yeah.
because we have few options and that bleeds into everything we care about. So when we care about something, it's like a literacy. It's either on or it's off. It's hard for us to touch something and just like it is a little bit. Oh, and just like it a little bit.
Pause.
Even relationships, we will be passionate about. We'll be passionate about a person we met yesterday,
That's facts.
and that's a
Corey
hard life
spitting
to
on that.
live.
Man,
Yeah.
what? That was a pause. I ain't even gonna lie, that was a hard pause.
Wow.
Corey
Wait a
spitting on that jet like, God
Wait a
damn.
minute. On that note, this has been.
We will be passionate about a person we met yesterday, and that's a hard life to live for most people who can't handle failure and rejection. Passion comes with a lot of failure and rejection
That's right.
and loneliness.
That's
And
right.
it also derives from that loneliness.
That's right.
That's facts.
That's right.
All
Corey
this
Owens,
fair,
bro.
love and war in the fam.
That's it. I'm gonna hit a love on that
Get
joint.
it too, Mo.
Shout out to that man.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Oh, so it's like a light switch, not a literacy. All right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We just kept going.
Right, we made an impression. We just like, all right, bro. You got it.
Like a literacy or something. I'm like, all right.
I was like, this nigga poetic.
Oh, shit.
Nah, big shout out Corey, man. That's
Shout
ultra
out.
facts, man.
For sure.
Ultra facts. I should screenshot that one and save it, bro. That's facts. Man, Terrence said, big shout out Ghost, you know what I'm saying? Terrence said, all this fear and love and war, the fam can get it too. All right, I mean, they know what it is, you know what I'm saying? They know what it is, man. I mean, hey, I ain't gonna go in, but hey, dog, I've been strange to everyone for mad years, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like strange to the world and everybody in my
sure.
family understood me. Nah. I was strange to everyone
Sure.
for mad years. Now that it all makes sense, I'm a bit more familiar. You know, so I'm gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying?
Scaring the fam.
Damn.
All right, well.
On that note, you know what I'm saying? Man, Corey says, if you look at my Memphis Metaverse project, you'll know I can definitely relate. Corey said, now that I done a school job, let me do this self-promotion.
Right.
Man, what? Shut
As a
up.
matter of fact,
As a matter of fact, my album just dropped.
I'm passionate too.
What was the most challenging?
Damn, the most challenging mix. Damn, we over time, my G.
Bro,
I'm gonna just say
We're gonna
this though.
save that for the next one, though.
I'm gonna say this real quick. It was either a Marco Alexander song or a Cameron Bethany song. Yeah. So.
Damn, that let me know I need to get more complicated.
No, you don't. You sure?
Don't even try to.
No, you don't.
Don't
You
even
sure?
try to do that.
Matter of fact, let's go ahead and end because I don't want no. Hey, on that note, you know what I'm saying?
you might need to, bro. All the top, apparently all the top
You know,
people in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
super complex. You know what I mean? So,
Shit.
Nah, on that note, let me turn their mics on. On that note, this has been another episode of Tight Beat, live from outer space and unapologetic studio. My name is I Make Mad Beats, and my cast is.
LJ1S.
Unique.
Kid Maestro.
With the Mr. Rogers wave and shit.
Y'all stay dangerous, stay safe, do both or do neither. Peace.
Peace.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit. Here we go again.